So the study that we're doing is, to our knowledge, the first research to look at the effects of combining a dose of alcohol with cannabis concentrates. The reason that we're doing this study is that as legalization of recreational cannabis has happened here in Colorado and in other states, concentrated cannabis products, which are highly potent products with up to 90 to 95% THC, have gotten really popular. People are using them, people are buying them, but we have very limited research on these products. In the last few years, there's been some studies that have started to look at the effects of these products on their own. So effects on intoxication, effects on like psychomotor performance, things that are relevant, for instance, for driving. But there hasn't been any research looking at what happens when people actually use these products alongside alcohol. And one of the things we know is that people like to combine alcohol and cannabis, whether it's using at the same time or using over the span of a few hours, using within the same day. People seem to like to combine these products. They're both intoxicating, they both impair driving, they both impair judgment. And so we wanted to provide some initial data on what happens when you combine these products. We started the study about 2 years ago, a little bit less than 2 years ago. It's a 3-year study, so we're almost 2/3 of the way through. We have about a year left, maybe a little bit more, of data collection.
I've been the project director for the Nectar study for about 4 or 5 months now. I'm involved in all the day-to-day activities, working with Hollis to run the study and just make sure that it's operating, working with undergrads and research assistants and other graduate students who help out, screening, scheduling, recruitment, and eventually analysis and writing, dissemination of papers.
We have run, I believe, about 40 people so far, and we hope to get somewhere between 60 and 80 males and females. Individuals have to be pretty heavy drinkers to be involved in the study, because obviously we don't want to be giving this rather large dose of alcohol to someone who doesn't normally drink that much. They have to be regular cannabis users, and they have to be people who combine the two. So we don't really want them to do anything in the study that they wouldn't normally do in their real life for safety reasons.
I'm interested in cannabis research for 2 main reasons. One's a little bit more broad, and it has to do with just, legalization in our society, and there not being enough research done on the effects of cannabis. And so that's really interesting to me. But for the Nectar study specifically, I'm interested in our psychomotor measures that we use. So we're not doing any kind of driving simulations or anything like that. However, the Nectar study is measuring the psychomotor influence of cannabis on individuals.
I think there's a couple of audiences that we would want to target with this information. First of all, we want to get this work published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, because, as I mentioned, there's really not a lot of work on the effect. There's really no work that we know of other than this study on the effects of alcohol when combined with high-potency cannabis concentrates. And lots of people are interested in the effects of concentrates, and lots of people in the research world are interested in the effects of alcohol and cannabis, because, as I mentioned, this is a very common behavioral pattern that people like to combine these substances. So we want to get this work out to other researchers because we hope that it may inform future studies. ICR creates an opportunity for investigators to get these grants to do innovative projects that maybe they wouldn't be able to get funded by bigger funding bodies like the NIH, for instance, because they're smaller, they're pilot studies, maybe they're a little bit higher risk. We don't know what our findings are going to be, but somebody has to do the initial work. And so I think the ICR really creates opportunities for all of these people who are increasingly getting interested in cannabis use to do a study that they think could contribute to the larger field. And it creates a lot more opportunities for cannabis-specific research than would have existed without it.